I ran to the bathroom and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna die. I have AIDS. She's like, you can't have AIDS. Why would you have AIDS? And I said, because me and Max Culpepper are boyfriends and blah 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 blah. And she was like, you can't possibly have AIDS. You're not gay. You don't know that yet. Don't tell your dad. So I'm Bastian, and I am originally from Dallas, Texas. Now I live in Philadelphia. I am mostly a theater artist. I started... The first performing that I ever did was when I was 10 with the Dallas Opera. I was part of their children's chorus. Like anyone who has ever sang opera, obviously, I'm a smoker now. And you can tell by my posture clearly and the poise with which I carry myself. But yeah, I did that in like mid-90s for a couple of seasons and got really into theater in my hometown. And it was really the way that I like learned to know the world and deal with the world. I mean, I came out to my mom when I was 6 years old. Because I thought I had HIV. Context, we were at House on the Rock, which is this tourist attraction in the Wisconsin Dells. And I'm born in 84, so this was like 91. Like, so right when the gay disease was still happening. It had just been declassified as GRID like a couple of years before, I think. So I was watching the news while my mom's getting into makeup, and I hear about the gay cancer, and I knew that like Max Culpepper and I had been like playing like rudimentary sex games before like swimming class, like between games of Ninja Turtles and shit. And I ran to the bathroom and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna die. I have AIDS. She's like, you can't have AIDS. Why would you have AIDS? And I said, because me and Max Culpepper are boyfriends and blah 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 blah. And she was like, you can't possibly have AIDS. You're not gay. You don't know that yet. Don't tell your dad. 10 years later, they found porn on the computer. I claimed bisexuality erroneously. I'm sorry, bisexual friends. I apologize for the discrediting of you that I did when I was 16. They threatened to send me to therapy. I threatened to run away. In all of this, theater became kind of like... I mean, I had no fucking friends when I was a kid, except for like one random, like, other weird kid friend, like... Nathaniel, who was like just really milky, like in every way. Like he was kind of like a McPoyle of a person. And Vance. And there was Sarah, whose mom was an immigrant, and she like had like 5 brothers and sisters, and they were super Christian. So I always had like these weird kid friends. But theater was the first place where I actually felt any like sense of community. And I mean, as any theater practitioner knows, theater community is it's like the gay community. It's a notion that doesn't actually exist. But it was, oh gosh, so I was a performer. I went to school for a couple of years and I dropped out, and then I went to Austin when I was like 21 and produced my first play. It was just, I mean, as you can imagine, with anyone's first play, it was absolutely genius. And I wouldn't change a thing about it now at 32. So I started writing, and then I started directing. I lived in New York for a minute, went back to Austin, and kind of like got my old job back and proceeded to like actually start producing theater regularly, and did it for about 6 years. Went to a couple of artist colonies, was lucky to be awarded with some residencies, and I was a theater critic for a while, which was... Don't do that to yourself. Don't. It's a bad fucking idea. Especially when you already don't have a reputation. And then when you do have a reputation, you also probably shouldn't be a theater critic. So, like, never do it, really. Because ultimately nobody gives a fuck. So I moved to Philadelphia to kind of, like, level up. Because I had kind of gone about as far as I felt like I could go. Could you hand me something to ash with, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. So when I was, I moved here right after my 30th birthday, and like left friends that I had had for like my entire 20s, my boyfriend, like any sort of like, I did all the fucking things you do when you move. I mean, if you're not dumb and moving with or for somebody, I'm sorry, Spencer, but it's real fucking stupid. And I got into drag originally as a tactical maneuver because I had started to write a play about internalized homophobia and racism and transphobia in the gay bar community specifically, and fetishization of masculinity, and basically why gay people are just awful to each other. And I started writing this play at these residencies that I was just talking about, and going to a lot of gay bars and getting more entrenched in the scene than I ever had before. And proceeded to get into drag for the first time in order to get in good with a bar where I wanted to produce that play, because I didn't think that just some rando with theater credentials would get anything. I thought that, you know, if I brought people into the bar, if I drank with the owner, blah, 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 I would get in. Well, it worked. So 4 years ago, I produced that play in Austin, and then 3 years ago I moved here. And last year I did it again, but in Philadelphia. Funny enough, at Eye Candy, 2 weeks before the video of the owner being a complete crazy racist came out. Some of you will know what Eye Candy is, I guess, and some of you won't. Look it up. It's a great story, full of twists and turns. There we go. Huh? I got it. Proceeded to do that play, and I never meant to do drag. I always actually really resented and hated drag because I felt like it was a form where I had to just be this like mix queen where I had to do lots of dancing. I had to wear really fucking hideous costumes with clashing fabrics and rhinestones, and I fucking hate sequins. I hate sequins a lot. And they're just trashy. And in the process of trying to get in good with this bar, I did this competition called Miss Everything, where for the first time I was actually able to treat drag as a playwriting exercise first, because it was really like you could do whatever the fuck you wanted, and I got so frustrated trying to do what I thought other people wanted me to do. This is the tale as old as time right here. That like when I finally just broke, when I finally just got so frustrated and I just did whatever the fuck I wanted to, that's what went over. So the adage, what your grandma says, is fucking true. It's like, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing you, it doesn't fucking matter. And then I got in good with one of the previous winners of that competition, and who is one of my dearest friends now, named Honey Tree Evil Eye. And she and I were shooting the shit at this like crappy bar that was actually like part of Philadelphia gay history. The Venture Inn. It's kind of like the Stonewall of Philadelphia. And we were eating nachos with olives on them, which as a Texan, I will tell you that is wildly inappropriate in a lot of ways. And I watched Timmery Honeytree doing this, and I still love her, so if that's indicative of how great she is. But we started talking about like our desire to do political work and meld like art and politics. And almost a year and a half later, and we've been doing a show called Agitated now here in town. And it's this is not what I moved to Philadelphia to do. And I'm still making theater. Like, I do a fringe show every year. But this is not what I intended. But it's kind of like, it's this manifestation of something I didn't expect. Like, I wanted to come and like be appreciated and received for like playwriting and directing and curating and all of the things that I do through a theater company. But I didn't expect that I would do it with a blonde wig on and my penis in my ass. Like, I did. that was unanticipated. It's kind of a be careful what you wish for situation, only this isn't really terrible, like in a Twilight Zone episode. So I guess if I had to think of some sort of like, I don't know, bit of advice or something I could give, I think my main thing is, if people want to do something, if people want to get into performing arts, because I hear people talking about stage fright all of the time. I would do that, but I can't. I seize up. I da-da-da-da. The fact of the matter, well, I mean, first of all, like, regret is the killer. But also, audiences come to appreciate you. Art is about communication. And if you have something to say and you're trying to do it in an earnest, honest, and like open way, and they don't receive it, then fuck a bunch of them. Like, the fact of the matter is, no one is there to see you fail. They didn't pay to see you fail. They didn't work at their shitty job, which translates into $10, so they could spend that $10 to be miserable again for another hour. Like, that's illogical. They're there to see you succeed. They're there to be with you. And if they're not, the trash people who have a lot of expendable income. So go forth fucking fearlessly and make the kind of work that's honest to you. And there will be people that will receive it and receive you. I've talked for a long time. I think I'm done.
Keep fucking going. Did you get that? Bastian, yo. What the fuck?